Testing. Looks like we are live. All right, guys. So, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. I've done some Raylib stuff, working in my game engine as well. I've done some Unity things today. It's not going to be quite a tutorial. However, I'm going to take some time and work on this project, and I figured I would live stream it while I did that. I'm going to hit play. This is kind of a test map area. We'll just kind of see what I got so far. So we have some UI. If I grab the gun, we'll have the fire UI kick in. I can jump, I can double jump. We got this guy here. And currently, if I shoot him, nothing happens. And if he punches me, I go flying. If I shoot him in the head, we do have that. And this is kind of where I want to start today. So, a few things that I was changing around was doing more of a body targeting system. And I never really did much more than shoot him in the head. I would like to shoot him in the arms, the chest, all kinds of stuff. And also not just like a death type of thing, but, you know, kind of go a little bit deeper than just this, what I would refer to as like a surface level mechanic. So with that being said, you're going to see me kind of click around a little bit. I have this set up in a couple of a component style, and I believe it would be in game. Shared systems, weapon components. This is where I in fact have created a weapon system. Now I'm not sure. I think there is a bug here as well. But we should be able to technically turn this shotgun into the assault rifle. I want to say this would be technically a shotgun pickup. And if I come over into, it would be shared. Nope, I think it would be systems. Maybe not. I'm just kind of looking here. Entity, interactables, helpful to the player, shotgun pickup. Right now we have the add BPC shotgun. But if I did, add BPC assault rifle, see all gun. You know what? It'd be really nice if Unreal decided to work some days, because I certainly have a BPC there. So let's go over to game weapon components. Let's open the assault rifle. I'm going to compile, cast into the player, add BPC assault rifle. There it is. For some reason I had to compile. Now it's still going to probably look like a shotgun here, but once I pick it up, it shouldn't. I'm gonna have the assault rifle. Now I don't think this one. Oh wow, well, that's good that works off the bat. But it was interesting the other day when I was just kind of reading through. Oh wow. Sometimes when I take a break from a project, it's really nice to read through the code before attempting edits. And I was just kind of reading through, and I have a data table here for gun types. And I was like, oh, well, we can set this stuff here. Oh, maybe even if it is, hold on, that might be it, because if this is a shotgun, oh, yeah, so it is a automatic. Does in fact work, and if it is not an automatic, right. For some reason, when I was showing my nephew that button the other day, it did not work. So that's mildly annoying in some fashion of the sense. But yeah, so we have like this all gun thing. There's a data table that I can hook up to customize these guns better. Eventually, we should have some type of Niagara effect system incorporated here. But I definitely want to go over to the entity enemy basic BP basic brute, and I think there's a couple things here as well that I want to kind of set up better before moving forward. So for example, I do have this BP basic enemy, and this basic enemy has a lot of this boilerplate code, which is absolutely fantastic. To kind of have it over here, and then the BP basic brute is able to use that type of stuff, which is nice, and then implement his own knockback thing. Now, headshot here. This system I put on the BP basic brute, and we kind of have two choices from here, right? Because in a lot of ways, this should be the parent, and what we change to this parent will affect the children. And I don't necessarily want to change BP basic brute in the future and have it affect his children, right? He should not have children, only this weird box thing should. This weird box thing does have a mesh component, so that's good. And I'm kind of thinking we would need to take this stuff over there. So this ragdoll custom event, I'm going to Control X this and delete that. Compile. We'll see kind of like where that's being used at. This is in a couple spots, so that's kind of fine. Here I will do custom event, ragdoll. We will paste this stuff here. I'll compile and compile. So that's fixed now. And if we come back to basic brutes event graph, this headshot logic it's probably going to get changed a bit. We're going to delete that for now. I am going to make a headshot custom event here. But I think this is where we're going to kind of take a stab at making things a little bit more modular. So boom, I'm going to compile, and yep, that should be good on both. All right. So right now, headshot goes, hey, whatever mesh it is, we need that information. Then I'm going to hide bone by name, and we're passing in head specifically. Then we're going, hey, get the socket location of that same name. It's here. And then this is spawning the Niagara effect. Then we're playing a sound. So basically it goes, hey, hide his head, spawn this Niagara effect at his head, play this sound. Now, in a sense, like, that's okay. And headshots, we could decide headshots are a one-shot kill on this type of enemy. Maybe later it's not that case. And that's something to think about, really. But with this basic brute here, it kind of would make sense if he was, for example, we don't want to hide his chest if we shoot him once in the chest, but we still want him to take damage. And after X amount of damage, he should die. He should ragdoll. Similar with the arm, like, you shoot off his arm, and notice he can still do like that swing animation. That might look a bit awkward. So maybe, if we remove his arm, it's also a ragdoll type thing. And maybe that could only happen on a certain health. So I'm going to say same thing with the head. Certain health it can pop off. which is fine. And in fact, we probably could, in a lot of ways, be able to really figure out if I'm hit here or there or the other spot, it's going to do X amount of damage. I kind of like that idea because that is going to allow, just different enemy types to be more modular as time goes on here. So I'm going to kind of save here. I'm going to go over to the content drawer and assets, and I believe it would be in mesh, enemy. We're going to kind of do a little bigger window, and I want to take a look at some AMN Ragdoll. So right now we're casting to a basic brute. This is fine because this is the Ragdoll thing for the brute. And this is a Anim Notify class. I remember watching a video and it had me do this. Should be fine for now. But this here does make me wonder a little bit. The other thing too, just kind of looking here, is this physics asset. Right. And so let's do like the left arm. Kind of what I'm looking here for is, let me go ahead and click on head for a second. See if I can find what I'm looking for. Yeah, the physics material override. So let's take a look at left shoulder. Okay, that's good. But we would have to hide all of those bones. So that's the other thing I'm kind of thinking about here is, it's one thing when we hide the head. When you hide the shoulder, since that's parented, I wonder, I do wonder. Let's just try that real quick. Right shoulder. What's the name of that? Let's come into... I know this still says headshot, but let's try right shoulder. And it should still be aiming for the head. The aim part has nothing to do with the creature guy. So let's see his right shoulder disappear. Right. So that does hide the rest of his body, which is kind of nice. Yeah. Okay. That certainly makes things easier there, because I thought I was going to have to, hide all of those at the same time. They hide the one and the parents hide the rest. So that's actually super, super nice. I'm kind of guessing if you hid the root bone, similar would happen. With that being said, let's take a look at how we're doing this. So I'm going to go into shoot gun. So shoot gun. If we have shot, the ammo decreases. If we have ammo, this is going to do the rumble effect for the controller. Plays a muzzle flash, has some recoil. This is our sphere trace here, and this is where we're going to start doing this this stuff. Yeah, it looks a little funky. And right here, so right here I'm like, hey, the physics material reference, material that was hit. And I'm saying if it's head, go ahead and say headshot. Quite literally, instead of all of that bullshit there, you know, we kind of want to feed. Kind of want to feed a few things here. So this, if blocking is true, I think that is fine. I'm going to disconnect these guys for now. So this is fine here. These Fizz material and Hit Actor, I kind of want to feed into a node. And then at the end of the day, Headshot is definitely going to have happened. So whatever this is in between is going to contain that data. Now, of course, this BP basic enemy type thing, you know, this thing is defined here. I would rather not cast. That kind of sounds like it's time for an interface. But just real quick, I'm gonna take a 20-second. Well, not 20 second. I gotta use the restroom, so I will be right back. Yeah. Enjoy the silence. Oh, alrighty. I am back. And I believe I was talking about using an interface for the headshot type thing. Or, you know, I should call it more like a targeted body location stuff. But I don't think an interface would really be the best thing here. So we do know we have a Hit Actor. And I'm trying to wonder which way would be better. An Event Dispatcher, because we can. Let's see here. If we made an Event Dispatcher, so let's call it like target or hit target location, or let's come up with a better limb target, something like that. So I have limb target. I wonder how these event dispatchers work in a blueprint component. It might be a little bit different. I'm going to click here. Do I just kind of like... Oh, yeah, okay. So we can call a limb target, and I think I might be able to do something of the sort here. Maybe I will end up using an interface, or would it be better in this way? I guess before kind of like jumping right in on which one, because I'm pretty sure both could be used, and it doesn't really matter which one's better, but the question that needs to be answered is, if I want to get a hit actor and a physical material as our input, but I don't care who that thing is, I think an interface actually might be a quicker way to implement that, maybe. So let's go ahead, make a blueprint interface. So blueprint interface, BPI, limb hit. Or I guess I should call that one like what, limb detection. Horrible with my namings today. Limb detection, boom, 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 boom. And under here, we'll do a function called hit. That function can be deleted. So under this hit function, our inputs would be an actor. And our other input would be a physics material. So in actor, in physnet. Something like that. Because then we can define those things. So I wonder so BPI hit. This would be our actor. That would be our physics material. And the target should also be our hit actor. I'm wondering, okay, you know what, if this guy is the target. Anyway, I was just kind of wondering in this sense, like, the hit actor is a actor, but if it, you know what, we'll try it. I'll experiment here. So hit actor comes into the target. Let's say for now, you know, basic brute is our guy. So I'm going to add a BPI to him. So we're going to go to class settings, and technically this should be basic enemy, but for now I want to put it here. And I'm going to do BPI, limb detection, and under interfaces here, should be able to double click. So this is our actor, this is our physics material, and I should be able to do like a equal. Physical material head, something like that. I don't think we even need to now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think we need this in actor here. But let's just see what happens here. Print string hello if hit in the head. Boom. Yeah, so that definitely functions. And here we do not need that. In fact, that makes things a lot easier in my brain, because over here the target is the actor, the information is his physics material. Now we can kind of take a look here at headshot, right? So this is our event hit driven by that limb detection interface. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to go into class settings. We're going to delete that limb detection. Yes, compile. Come over into basic and just kind of look in here. Class settings. We're going to also add this BPI limb detection. So boom. And I'm kind of thinking this is really what we want. We want the in, and the name, the bone name is what really matters here. And that is kind of what I'd like to figure out, because when the montage as well. So this is something I need to be aware of as well, for accuracy of, like, you know, where it's hit, what animation plays. So I'm just gonna make a comment here. Watch for the montage being headshot change later. We have the right this bone name here is really what I care about getting. So we're gonna come back over here. Yeah, that's her bone name. We have hit bone name and bone name. All right. Well, hit. You are going to take in a bone name, or a name, I suppose it would be. Should be bone name. And that way we can come back over to here and compile. You know, I don't even know. We don't even need the physics material. It doesn't matter about equals this equals that. It is quite literally, we just care about the bone name. And we were just using the physics material as a thing there. It's actually rather interesting. So, you know, as you see, I'm kind of like going back and forth. That's completely valid to do as you are experimenting with different things. So yeah, this is interesting now, because we don't give a crap about that physics material that was hit. We really just care about the bone name that was hit. If that's the case, we're going to hide that bone. Now, of course, he shouldn't die right away. What did I do? Hide his frickin' ankle? I think we want hit bone name. now that we've seen that happen twice, let's try that. Okay, so that was head. That was hand. Okay, so we're making progress on this feature here. We have an interface. Just takes in a bone name and a target, and if they implemented that interface, then it does the stuff. So that's good. Now what's not good is it kills them pretty immediate, which isn't what we're really looking for there. Just kind of looking here. This ragdoll thing. Game entity enemy. You know what? I think it's an assets mesh enemy. This thing here. Receive notify. So when that happens, this Ammon notify grabs the owner, casts to the brute, enters ragdoll, sets dead. But why would he die if I shoot any other body part? That is the question here. I think it's because of this montage. Yup, it's because of the montage. So, this montage is quite literally what kills him. So technically, that change later guy is actually going to be changing now. And this nice little hide bone by name, that's cool and all. But kind of, let's say I shot his arm off. It's going to look real freaking awkward when he has no arm that he's trying to hit me with, right? And the fact that he can still technically hit me with it is, and walk normal, that's going to be kind of a weird problem there. Especially since now his root is like walking around. So there's got to be a couple guards here. This is fine. This event hit thing is fine. However, now it's kind of time to think about the health system. Oh, sorry. Ooh. I'm a little out of it today, guys. I decided not to drink coffee at all today. I've been drinking water. I ran a mile, walked a mile. So yeah, little out of it. But as I was saying, it would kind of be nice to have like health bars or not health bars, but health pools, amounts of health that the limbs have. And if we hit that limb, then that limb's health goes down. And from there, if it goes over a threshold, we hide it. And when we hide that limb, we kill him too. So kind of liking that idea. Even though this says headshot, like, I think it's fine to play this montage when he dies. It just kind of looks like a death montage. And it activates this ragdoll, which activates our Anim Notify, which activates Ragdoll. Ragdoll sets Simulate and is dead. So I kind of like that idea. This is the final death. This should definitely happen, really, in this order. But this is where things are going to be a little bit different. Because this is more like event died. Be very honest. It's more like a death. And I see a check dead here. You know, if the current health is less than this and spawning and the item. Looks like I had plans with items. I do recall. And then we destroyed the actor. I think I'm going to set a timer for this stuff here, and you know, we'll handle removal via timer. Regardless, check dead. Could do some of that. Just kind of thinking here. So check dead. I think what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to have a variable here called last bone hit. It's going to take in a name like so. And then on our event hit, you know, we're going to set this last bone hit like so. But then we're going to handle this this idea of health with this BPC blueprint component enemy health. And we're gonna go visit that guy. But I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna set last bone hit, and then here, you know, this is gonna get that's starting position. This is gonna the last bone hit is gonna be fed into there, and then when we check if something is dead, so I'm just gonna grab a hold of this thing. This is kind of what we want to do if that case is true. Where we grab our mesh, we grab that last bone hit. We play the montage, we remove the bone. This right now is a custom event, but I think we're gonna make these things a little bit more different here. I know these are not connected right now. Just kind of thinking how I want to go about engineering this. Right. So let's go take a look at this blueprint component enemy health. Let's make sure that there is a head health, a leg health, a arm health. Handle those situations. And then Ragdoll sets this is dead system and happens. It should happen as we shoot. Like that is kind of like a key thing there. And this last bone hit. There's going to be some stuff to this system here. So let's take a look. I think it would be what, shared components, health component, enemy health. Right. Is this all we have? Alright. Well, super basic stuff. We're going to delete that and delete that. We are going to start from scratch. We have a max health, and it's going to be an array. As freaky as that's going to be. Same with current health. It's going to be an array. And then, these elements here, we're going to have a head. I wonder, too, having like a map. Nah, let's... So, head is 0. You know what? I think we're going to use a goddamn map, guys. Because, hear me out on this. If we use a map, and this health system takes in a bone name, right? There's a name and a health. So, let me just kind of play around here for a second. So, current health, make that a single. This is going to be a single, but I want it to be a name. So, I'm just going to have a current health and a name. Hold on. I even wonder too, like, this could be a data table. Whoa. Oh, it could be. Let's try it. I know I'm jumping around a lot, guys, but it kind of is what it is. On this stuff here. So I'm going to go into just game, systems, data tables, and we are going to want a miscellaneous data table. And, oh yeah, we need a structure. That is correct. Structures here. There's an attack profile. Ah, okay. Forgot I did that. Then yeah, gun types as well. Right, radio. So let's make another structure. It would be a blueprint class structure. This structure is going to be, what do we call that? Like bone to health, limb health, limb profile. So we have a limb profile, taking a name. It's going to be the bone name. And this is going to be the bone's HP. The bone's max HP value. Alright, just kind of looking here. Gonna save that structure. Systems, data table, boom. Miscellaneous. ST limb profile, data table, limb. Limb health sounds kind of weird. Limb live, limb live limb. I guess that sounds the freakiest. That looks kind of funky. Anyway, adding. So we have a head, and head's HP is, well, let's think about it really, right? Like we have the head, We have the arms and the legs. Now, of course, there's chest as well. But we could, in a way, punish the player for shooting them in the chest. Is like low HP in a sense, and then if they do die, we just ragdoll them. But the limbs type of thing, yeah. I mean, that way each limb, since there's 5 limbs, could have 20 HP. And then the chest itself technically has a zone on it, I believe. Let me take a look here at the assets mesh enemy physics zone. What is you? Yeah, so we can factor out PM body, and that's why I probably do need the physics material at BPI now that I think about it. But that's okay. So let's just say technically it would be 6. We're splitting up 100 between 6 things. Don't think that's quite even. 50 between 3. Yeah. Yeah, so let's just say 20. It's fine. So this one, I'm just going to call... So you have a row name here. Head, left arm, right arm, left leg, right leg, body. Just gonna kind of copy paste those, going down real quick. He has 120 health. What ifs? And I want to make sure these are technically the name that I'm looking for. I know, like, later on I might have an enemy who has these things named differently than they are named now. That's okay, because, you know, it's just, that's fine. I wonder, I was just kind of looking for a rename and copy paste on that. I don't see it, so I'm just going to type left shoulder. Like so. That can be right. And then back at this physics material, I'm noticing there's like what? A left up leg? Is that really what we're calling it? Well, hips. That's part of body. Yeah. Left up leg. Like so. This is probably right up leg then. And body here. What do you call that? Like a spine? A hip. You know, since technically that one you know, we are straight up gonna factor this guy out, so I'm just gonna remove him. Yeah, so here we have it. This is a data table. It contains our healths for those limbs. And here we have a BPC current, or BPC health. It's a health component. This is a component that little dudes can have for their healthy lives. Data table. I think we can just do it like that. Live limb. I think we're going to delete both of those. I'm going to promote that to a variable. And we're going to call this, so this is the row, that's the row names. Right. Not quite what I want, because the row names would be this stuff. I kind of want that stuff instead. So data table, let's see what we have here. Just kind of see which data table we should be using. Data table row. Ah, well, you know. And I believe what you would do something like that. And if we click here, we can hide those. Look like there's a set as well. Right, so I think this is going to be kind of what we want to go with. This is column names guy. I think we're going to use this and then do like a for each into those. And then just have a map. It's gonna be our structure type. So ST. Maybe not even a map, just a structure guy. ST limb profile called right, and then that could be an array. I think we do what? Add? Unique? Something like that. Or add? Or set? I think if we use set, you'd have to fill out how many elements you have previously, which we do know the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that, I think. As convoluted as that looks, I don't know if that'll work on begin play. But you know what? We can try it. That's what we definitely can do. Looked like I was doing some type of decreased health via a knockback as well. For now, I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to come over to here because I bet this part is also a little angry with us. Where else are we angry? Alright, looks like it's relatively happy again. It's, of course, decombobulated everywhere and not even close to being accurate, but you know what? This is where we're at. I am going to do just a little test guy. And we're going to grab our BPC guy, our enemy health. Name, boom, or you know what, probably more typical, we depend, is that a semicolon? Let's do append colon, space, and append this as well with that. So colon, boom, space, boom, health, bam, boom. All right. Looks like we have some errors here. Compile. Are you sure you want to put in the editor the following? Somewhere I have duplicates. Yeah, somewhere I certainly do have duplicates. Let's figure that out. So if I type in BP basic, yeah, I got some blue duplicates here going. Which one are you? So this one I don't want. That might cause Unreal to be a little weird. Not sure which one's which there. Well, we're sure as hell gonna find out. Okay, looks like decent yet. So right. So yeah, I definitely had some duplicates there. That was a bit strange. So that certainly is printing out those values. We definitely have each thing there. Just to see if we can do that instead of on whatchamacallit, event tick. Let's go ahead and do that on event begin play. Boom. Right. And just to show you guys, you know, if you changed not the profile itself, but the actual data table. So if we go into systems, data tables, live limb, and I said, yo, this head's actually 50, it would be 50 for head. So that is working. And this is good because now we have a system here to denote what health is what. And then over on the whatchamacallit, so let me go back to the shared system health, BPC health. On begin play, you know, we're going through these. This basically is just saying, hey, from that data table, we're gonna set these members. This is what we have. We have a bone name, and we have a max health. So this limb profile, specifically, we know bone, we know HP. Well, since we know bone, we know HP. Now we know a little bit more information. This check test here, you know, I don't think we need anymore. You know, may come in handy later, but we can always write another test case. Checking dead, if it's true, we spawn the item. You know, that's very likely at the back. Event hit, we set that last bone hit. This is kind of where, in a lot of ways, you want to check with our array of limb guys and say, hey, is it equal to? If it is, lower that bone's health. So here, you know, type in get, scroll to the bottom, get limb profile. Out of this limb profile, let's do a for each loop here. And the array element, we can break it. And what we are really looking for is if this is that. And that's the cheese and the butter. That is the main thing that we need, is right here. because now we've found, the proper guy. Now the health needs to decrease. Now, as you've seen here, this is this max HP value, right? And you typically want a difference between max HP and current HP for healing purposes, lerping health purposes. And I don't think this is any different of a case, really. The difference is, even though this here we're saying is max HP, honestly, in the limb profile itself, it's more like HP. This is more of its current. This max is where it starts. So I do think, it's won't make too much of a difference here if we took an action and subtracted that. Now, what should this get subtracted by? Well, if we kind of took a look at those interfaces here, it kind of looked like there was some type of health check. And I know I deleted that stuff, but within the gun itself, I'm sure if I look there, it would become pretty apparent on what exactly the intention is, how the gun does damage, how much damage that gun is. I just have to find my way around here. It'd be, yes, this one. Calculate force. Yeah, I kind of think that's what we're looking for, in a sense. Yeah, force was fed into hit strength, and then over here, we could. I'm kind of thinking about it. For a test, you definitely don't need to have all that crazy stuff in there. Right. Do. Takes in the bone name, the hit actor, that jumps over here. We set that last bone hit. We loop through, we check which bone was hit, and we're going to just simply for now decrease. That's not quite a set there. Sorry about that. My phone keeps going off. Trying to focus here. All right, so we have this information. This thing here is kind of a little cattywampus. And we want to subtract this, but kind of where I'm getting a little stuck in my brain is setting that information. And I suppose instead of having like a whole other, I guess we'd have to, let's explore their maps real quick. So we are going to go into map. Name, key and a value. And this is going to be called current health. Current bone health. I think we're going to set this stuff at the same time. So if the bone hit contains what's inside the bone profile, then I don't think we even need to do that, but we're going to do that for now because honestly I think it's just this this map that's going to be useful to us. So get a current thing. Get value by index. I think I want to get value by, get key value by, key value. Why is it by index? What if I want to get value by key? That seems a little bizarre. Why would that just not be the case in a map? I'm going to look that up. So hash maps and Unreal Engine 5. Get value by what the? Get value by key. And thank you, Unreal, for completely taking away my monitor. Find. So instead of get, it's find. so again, don't think we need this. For now, I'm just going to print this value. I'm not going to worry about what it looks like on the screen right now. I am just going to print that value. Seen 20 one time. I think it was a fluke. It's 20 again. Don't think we need that. Shouldn't need those. Should just be from this data table, set this map. From this map, find that bone. If it's true, then we're going to bring it down. Don't mind me as I'm trying to figure out how these maps are actually, because like this gives me the value, but what if I want that value to change and be set back into the map? That is kind of like what I'm looking for here. Add, replace, remove. I'm going to look this up again. Just the add node. let's just subtract by 20 for now, type of thing. So the condition being from our BPC enemy health, we're going to get our map. We're going to find if that value is the last bone hit. If this value is less than or equal to 0, so if we found the right bone and this, so I think we're just going to use a AND node. So if this is the right bone, and if this is the case, then here, and yeah, ragdoll him. Certainly not correct. I glitched them. Interesting. Knockback was checking dead previously. Right now, nothing's checking. Check dead. That's a lot of moolah. Damn. So yeah, it certainly worked. Maybe his bones doesn't cover on his back well. Yeah, it's not great. It's certainly not great yet. Here, you know, it's kind of where you would want this. And that event tick thing, you know, that's kind of horrifying. You definitely don't want that. there. Something like that. So that was his head. This is his leg. Yeah, I think it's physics material. Oof. Oh, glitched. Damn. Yeah, I think his physics material doesn't wrap around his ass. That's kind of what I'm thinking. It kind of does. You know what? I think when I'm shooting him like that, right in the butt, it's just his it's his body, and then technically this is right arm. Shoulder doesn't seem to really like extend too much. So, you know what? What I'm gonna do, so we're just gonna kind of, you know, make those parts a little bit fatter to hit. Kind of see how that goes. So probably shouldn't be able to spawn more items for every body part we shoot off a guy. That would be a little broken, but hilarious nonetheless. I'm just kind of organizing this stuff here. Alright, and then this is the thing that actually hits. Now, we set it to, you know, 20. I'm going to do it to 5 now. Alright, so... And if I shuttle forward correctly, maybe that, maybe that. Took a lot of shots. Let's try his head. 1, 2, 3, 4, Right. Now, one thing I seen immediately, let me close out of that and this as well. One thing I seen immediately is it was nice and all that the system does technically work, but as you guys can notice when we shoot, even though we are technically doing some type of damage, there's no feedback until the thing is taken. You know what? I'm not even sure if it's working all the time. Yeah. You know, it's hard to tell if it's working the whole time or just part of the time. That's kind of under my point. There's really no player feedback if you made like a shot, right? And so, kind of looking over here on this knockback. So I'm going to grab the owner. I'm going to get the owner's location. And we're going to subtract. Actually, that thing just gives us... Alright, whatever. Thanks, Unreal. Yep. So that's our thing. And hit location would be that. And so what's wrong here? So now we have some feedback. And yeah, so let's take a look there. I thought that was a little strange. Let's try it again. He probably went flying. Try to take a look at this. What's my force being shot out of that thing? Ooh. Yeah, so force is like 900 something. What's happening on the knockback there? Let's take a look here. Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. It's like multiply that by quarter. And I think since he's implemented it as well, it'll technically take his off. Do you do the basic blood? Yeah, you know, there's no reason for you to also implement this interface since it's already set up. Right, and it kind of looks like I was not calling that interface anymore. It's probably because of that right there. Let's go ahead. Yep, I see the blood, so we're good. Right, look how far that shot his ass. Oh shit. Let's take a look how we're calculating that force again. Whoa. Lower max force. Not much better. So distance divided by our range. Take a look here at where would that be? Game systems, data tables, gun types, range is 520. Take a look over back here. 520. Distance. The distance between us was not very much. So, but let's get some real numbers here. Let's go into shoot gun. This distance here, I want to print that. And basically, this is just you know, a little quick debugging. I'm going to see what this distance is, check the calculations. So distance is 95 when I'm about there, 16-ish. All right. So taking a look at this, and I'm going to kind of move that back over here for a second, just so you know, clicking around doesn't disturb it. If we go over to calculate force, we're saying, hey, whatever my range is, which in this case is 520, we're dividing distance by 520. So, you know, we've seen distance at 95, we've seen distance at 16. We'll go between them, say 50. We divide 50 by 520. This gives us a 0.09. And we're saying, hey, take the value 1 and subtract this value. So we take the value 1 and we subtract that value. This gives us a 0.9 something. And then we're multiplying 0.9 something by 500. So multiply that by 500, and this gives us like a 451. If we come over to basic enemy, we're taking that technically, that's what this outputs force. And over in shoot, that force is what hit strength is. So this force comes in, and here we multiplied that number by a 0.25. So that 451, 0.93 by 0.25. That gave us like 112, and it was a bit too much yet. I'm going to try lowering the max again. And I'm also going to see if max force lives in the data table. It does. So that's another area where that may not have like changed. Boom. So we're going to see if 500 from the data table changes much. That was definitely strange. So backwards is just bugged. Forwards is a little much yet as well. So let's try, see if 100 in the data table affects anything. Technically it should. Yes, so it definitely did. It's a little bit sudden too. Definitely don't like how sudden he just kind of like slams back like that. Seems a little, honestly, it seems really unpolished like that. We're using this like launch character system. I think instead, and what? Okay, so we're spawning the blood. I was about to say like, what are we spawning? Anyway. So we want to like vinterp 2. I'm gonna go like that for a second. I don't think that's what we should do. But we're gonna try it. I don't really see much movement, if any. So you know the drill. Test by absurdity. Right, so this tells me that the lerp is not correct. So we're going to leave that at 1,000 there. And I'm going to come over here. And, well, that would have something to do with it. Oh, I see a little jug. It's like a little flinch there. Ooh, he's still in it to win it. definitely break his his AI when it jump over his head. It's super interesting. Well, that's overall better than what we started with. I'm kind of happy with this for now. You know, we have a limb detection. See if I can shoot his arm off. Can I shoot his arm off? I shoot anything off. Dang. Alright, well, that test was not great, so we're going to continue. I think one thing I'm going to do... do this first. Not that it would make a bunch of difference or anything. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. And, you know, his chest thing is kind of funky as well. So we're going to have kind of like a false area. And by no means is this going to be like something you should do. But I'm going to do it. Shared health here. Let's float. All right, boom. Something like that. Just having the chest kind of separated. was getting aggressive there. Oh, you know what? We'll just have that as a separate thing, just because I'm seeing a few things that I wouldn't care about that. Right. So we'll just say, hey, if the chest HP is less than or equal to 0, if this is the case, then ragdoll. I'm going to call it other death. I know it's probably not like the best thing to call it necessarily, or even like the best idea to have this, but you know, it's just kind of one of those things. Other death. Bam. Chest. Chest again. Chest again. And and probably should, you know, spawn an item and whatnot there as well. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to slowly develop this this little test arena, make something cute out of it. But yeah, thanks for helping me focus.